Hey, it's Andrzej on Software. On Saturday, I was at a conference here close to me in Wrocław. The conference is called Boiling Frogs. It's a metaphor about how you can stay as a frog in the hot water and never realize that you're gonna die. And it's about software craftsmanship, so programmers who like to develop their knowledge. The talks were great. I learned a lot, and there was one specific topic that I'm really happy that I listened to. It was a talk by Łukasz Szydło about showing which techniques, which architectures to provide to an average programmer and how to explain it step by step, like when to introduce ports and adapters architectures, when to introduce domain-driven design, when to make it with CQRS, and so on. And there was a really great explanation of the distinction between the ports and adapters architecture and the domain-driven design. And the distinction here is that domain-driven design is all about the domain. It's nothing about your web framework. It's nothing about your persistence framework. It's nothing about all kinds of ways you can send emails or whatever you do with the external world. It's all about the logic. But to make it happen, you first need to have those other things separated. And this is where ports and adapters comes to the rescue. Because with ports and adapters, this actually operates more on the application level. So you can have like the HTTP parts being separated. You can have the persistence being initialized and configured. And ports and adapters is all about the application level, the infrastructure level. If you have the email adapters, then you need to have some kind of dependency injection or whatever way to initialize it and to pass it further. And this is done at the application level. And with ports and adapters, it's basically a set of techniques which helps you extract all those adapters around, create ports, so you don't have really the dependency on those outside world. You can just plug them in, and once you do it, once you separate all this stuff, then you're left with just the domain, and this is the moment where you can actually play with those domain-driven design techniques. And for me, it was always like it wasn't that clear before, and what Łukasz did with his explanation was really cool, and it clicked in my mind how clear is the separation here. So if you are not familiar with ports and adapters, it's sometimes also called hexagonal architecture or onion architecture. Go and read about it. There is a great book called Growing Object-Oriented Software by Steve Freeman, and this is where it's nicely explained. And as for domain-driven design, you can buy the Implementing Domain-Driven Design book by Von Vernon. And those two books will teach you both the sides here and will show you the different techniques. And for me, it was very cool to listen to it, and hopefully it will help you too. Thanks for listening.